Hello and welcome to another video. Today I want to look at something apparently quite controversial because I have noticed that YouTube has this new feature where you can see what other people are interested in if I want to make a video about it. One of these interests are: why is Singapore insanely well designed? Or why Singapore is insanely well designed? And then it hit me. Is Singapore indeed insanely well designed? I don't know that. That is what we are going to find out today. So if we take a trip down to Singapore, or Singapore, as it is called in German, we can see here that it is a city-state with apparently quite a lot of extra room, because if we go down here, we can't. If we go down here, we will notice we are in the middle of nowhere. There is nothing here besides a jungle. If we go all the way over here, we notice, is that a parking place? Is that a car park? Oh, there actually is some houses there. Do they show up if we go to here? Yeah. Indeed, they do. It must be nice being in Singapore living out here. Or is it? Would you rather live in the city? Where's the downtown Singapore even located? I would think it would be something around here, but I'm not entirely sure. There's some temples there. That is usually the perfect place for a city centre. Oh yeah, it looks like, wow, that's actually some historically interesting buildings. Those ones over there definitely isn't. I mean, that just looks like everywhere in the world, apparently. This looks like some sort of Chinese buildings. Is that correct? Had the Chinese... Whoa. Didn't something just happen there? No, it didn't. The interesting thing is not these buildings. It's the buildings over there. Because if we go to this data thing, go all the way back to 2008. Wait, was that tree spot there? Why was that removed? That's so fine. That's such a fine thing to have. Construction. Maxwell Station, Thomson East Coastline. Woodlands North to something. Gardens by the Bay. Is that a subway extension? I don't know if it is. But still, they have done a pretty good job at this thing here. Obviously, it isn't like it was in 2011 with wild nature. We love wild nature. There's just a bunch of flowers now. The problem is, look at how disgustingly wide this 3-lane road is. And the flowers end here, which is a crime. They should have continued. They were so great. The lanes are way too wide anyway? Is that a bus stop? Yeah, probably. You would think that a road so wide as this one would have a tram or something. Oh God. Oh God. This is just terrible. That is a crime. Also over there's another one. Imagine cycling in these conditions. That you can't have that. Wait, is it only one way? I've just noticed that now. There's only one way road. Does that mean there is another road somewhere that goes the other way? Or, well, it doesn't matter, because look at how large and terrible this road is. This is a crosswalk. Or, these are waiting to cross the road. How are they going to do that? Oh. These also. Look at that. He is literally on the road, or, almost on the road. That is terrible. That is such bad urban planning. We are in the middle of... Look at how beautiful these houses are, especially compared to that monstrosity over there. How... why? Just not even how. Why would they build that? Especially these houses here. They are so great. Look at how nice they look. But to see the neighbourhood is ruined by this terrible road. I am literally so disappointed. Why did they build like this? There isn't even a need for this large road. I thought they were transit-oriented. You can't have a road this large, just on level with these fantastic houses. And look at that bus over there. Well, I mean, it looks like a what's he been called? Sightseeing bus. No, wait. That's a bus lane, isn't it? No, it isn't. Great. Is that parallel parking then? It is a bus stop. Why have a bus here? The road is clearly wide enough for a tram. Why not have a tram? In fact, you know what? We are going straight to the transport section. Transport in Singapore. It's mainly land-based. Many parts of Singapore, including islands such as... Yeah, sure, people aren't flying. Bus transport forms a significant part of public transit in Singapore, with over 4 million rides taken per day on average. That is actually pretty great. That's actually really great, actually. I think the regional bus service here in Denmark has just over 1 million riders a year. That is regional after all, but still. Land Transport Authority regulates the public bus service standards and owns relevant assets, whereas bus operators bid for operating bus services via competitive tendering. Okay. So, yeah, whatever. I actually thought the Singaporeans did everything themselves, actually. I don't know why, but apparently they don't. Taxis, terrible. Private cars, terrible. There were a total of almost 1 million motor vehicles. with half of them being private. Like, fair enough, if there are, 1 million buses, that is great capacity. But 500,000 private cars. Look at Singapore. Look at Singapore. It's a city-state. It's the transit heaven. Look at this mess of motorways. This looks terrible. Like, if we go down on Hill Street, which has to be the most American name ever, why? What do we have here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. But that is a turn lane, but still 5 here. 4 of them being directly that way. Look at the buses. There could be a rail line easily. But this house is so fun, actually. I actually kind of like this, especially because you never see people paint their windows. You never see people paint their windows. I mean, why doesn't all buildings look like this? This is fantastic. Anyway, that over there is just terrible. On the other side, we have 3 plus 1 again. That might be a bus lane though. If we're very lucky, it's a bus lane. Yes, it is indeed a bus lane. And a turn lane at what the? No. 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 I have a strong dislike for tunnels, but especially in this city, in this city, car infrastructure should not be at the surface. Cities are not meant for cars. Cities are meant for people. Yuppie, is that toll or something? Do they have a toll on these roads? Well, probably. Just look at the architecture here. I mean, yeah, sure, I kind of like this one, or this part. But compared to those houses over there, those houses look so nice. I would like to live there. And it's out to the water, and where does that cyclist cycle? Oh, again down in this terrible tunnel. Why do people have tunnels that are terrible like this? We have to zoom in to see the other side of the road. Is it just me, or is this pavement very, very small? Especially on the bridge. And why is Google Maps like this? Holy moly. That is not a nice place to walk. Like, yeah. They have a light. But they don't have a light for the cars, or what? Oh yeah, they do. I can't be the only one that absolutely hates standing at these lights, because the cars get like 60 minutes where they can just go over, and then the pedestrians get like 3 seconds. And I think it's terrible. At least there are trees out here, which is nice. So yeah. And as a Danish person, I can't say anything about trees in urban areas. Except I can, because I support them. But if we go to Denmark really, really quickly, if we just zoom over to Denmark, zoom down to Copenhagen, In the center, look at this terrible, terrible ring road. Maybe construction. Oh, it's because it's a communist store. I can't even speak Danish anymore. We could go here, I think. Yeah, that's the architecture center. Look at how sad those trees look. In bags as well. You know when you have trees in bags, it's just sad. I will say though, I like the Black Diamond. And I also kind of like the architecture center. I've never actually been in there, but I kind of like the architecture center. Though this road is terrible. It's so annoying to cross. I hate it. Like, look at this. Also, we have these stupid lights, which are so annoying. So, you don't really ever use it. And for once, it isn't the cyclists that are annoying, it's actually the cars, because they just drive like Copenhagen cyclists here. It's terrible. Look at that. That is Denmark, or not. Yeah, the entirety of Denmark in a nutshell. This. Look at how sad this area is, even though it could be better. Back to Singapore. That over there, I really want to go over there actually, because that looks so nice. And look at this. This is fantastic. We have actual architecture, nice buildings, you know. We have all of these. Well, this is kind of stupid because it takes up everything. So I don't know what they want with that. But this is nice. This is actually really nice. You can see people walk around here. Well, they don't, apparently. Strictly no activities within the fountain. People walk around here. There are some people, actually many people over there. And there are shops and everything, which is quite the contrast for, what is that? Are we out walking in some kind of tunnel again? Let's see, how long is this tunnel? That is just, you can't even see the river. Come on. At least you should be able to see the river. Come on. That is terrible. And that is just an awful looking bridge. If we go up to it... Wait, what? This is what people walk on? Really? This is all they get? And look over there, that's you. Oh, God. And look over there, that's even worse. If we go out to car level. You can't walk along this. Who would ever do that? Please tell me that. Go over here. That doesn't seem to be a walking path. Look at this. Why just build acceptable infrastructure for walking people? Look at all the space the cars get. 2 turn lanes and 2 lanes there. Here also, slow. Yeah, sure. 4 lanes. No tram whatsoever. I haven't seen a single tram. Do they even have trams? Now we have to do that. Singapore pioneered congestion pricing. The market-based usage to manage. Whatever. The total length of expressways is 164 kilometers. Just if we go out here and say, what is the distance like in Singapore. From one side of the country to another. This one doesn't count. 49 kilometers. That is so bad. That is so bad. 49 kilometers. They need 164 kilometers of expressway. Majority. Oh God. That is just terrible. We have to have a map here. Expressways of Singapore. Semi-expressways of Singapore. Yes, you're up north where nobody lives. And before I say nobody lives there, we will, of course, people live there. Hey, that's the woodlands that we saw before. What is life like in the woodlands? There's one person out walking, and he looks suspicious. And now he's gone. He looks suspicious. Hey, there's a bicycle. Because, yeah, sure, you're going to cycle around here. There's still buses. Like, this is a ginormous road. Why is there no room for a tram? Look at how disgustingly large this road is. 3 lanes here, 3 lanes there, admittedly. No, one is not even a turn lane. And look at the walking infrastructure. You have to walk up there, over and down again. Terrible walking experience. If we go into the heart of the neighborhood, we see this. I've never understood why people have these air conditioned things all over the place. I mean, what is the temperatures in Singapore? Just quickly, what is the temperature in Singapore? It's just me, geography. There we have the climate. Singapore has a tropical rainforest climate with no distinctive seasons. Temperatures usually range from 23 to 32 degrees. 23 to 32 degrees isn't enough to justify a disgusting air conditioner. Just open a window. Or, I mean, if we go to a almost tropical climate, which we will call Catania in Italy, and go smack down in the center, which couldn't be more Italian. We can see there are much fewer air conditioners. There's still way too many, but there's much more few. And notice how all of them are in concrete things. In fact, if we go to a place I've actually been, if we go to Portugal and go to a random small town out in nothing, we will go to Favaios. And see whoopty. In fact, well, this looks so Southern European as anything could ever look. So if we find a house that we are certain people are living in, we are not really certain in any of these. But the fact is, holy moly, what happened there? The fact is, I don't see air conditioners almost anywhere. Even this is a fairly modern building, it looks like. no air conditioning. Because apparently the Portuguese people know how to build houses, unlike Singaporeans. And yeah, I know Singapore had a housing crisis. They built a bunch of houses. Fair enough. But still, and instantly, look at this, entirely occupied by cars. Night parking from 10:30 to 7. Okay. This is just... I mean, I really appreciate the trees, and I really appreciate the colours of the concrete jungle. But still, is there any parks? Yeah, there is a park here. Let's see how that looks like. Where was it? It was there. That's a park, that. Which? Fushan Garden. If we go here, we see it's quite a nice park, actually. I would actually say this is quite a nice garden. Anyway, do Singaporeans have trams? Rail transport in Singapore. It mainly consists of passenger urban rail transit systems spanning the entire city state. A rapid transit system, collectively known as Mass Rapid Transit System, operated by the two biggest public transit operators, SMRT Trains and SBZ Transit. Can we see a map? Is there a map somewhere? And also, what happened to these trains? I mean, I know that we can build different, but why did we stop building these trains? They look fantastic. As well as, actually, this station building, I love station buildings, but this one, fantastic also. The cars outside, not so fantastic. But that's another story. History. Urban Rail Transit. Mass Rapid Transit, Singapore. Okay, I have to say it. This looks awful. This literally looks like Amsterdam Schiphol. Like, no, not Schiphol, but, what's it called? Sloterdijk. If we go down, that's one of the worst places I have ever been. If we go down in Amsterdam Sloterdijk, we can't really go down anyway. But look at how sad the area around it is. Look at this bicycle guy. That is not a nice place to be cycling. That's a terrible place to be cycling. And also, all these massive concrete structures, so intimidating. Who would have ever thought that building also, this is a terrible place to cycle also. People don't know how to drive here, apparently. There's just massive trains and motorways and concrete structures all over the place. It's terrible. And look at how ugly this area looks. Now, I don't understand why any of these wants to be here. And then there's just some parked van out in the middle of nowhere with, what is that, even gravel or sand or something? No trees whatsoever, just these disgustingly low bushes. It's a terrible area, which this also is. Imagine cycling around there, or walking around there, and just looking up to the bottom of all these concrete structures. I know that it's rail transport and rail transport is so good, but it looks terrible. Also, the houses in the background is not helping either. At least there's a small park here, but that's really it for this image. It looks terrible. And notice how there's not a single person inside here, because no one wants to be here. Here's a map, actually. It's quite dense in the centre, actually, which is always nice to see. So they have a bunch of... In fact, if we go out, and if we say we want to go from Evergreen Secondary School to the National Gallery of Singapore. We are going to the National Gallery of Singapore. Holy, that does not look good. What is happening on that street? It's only one way. We are going the other way, come on. What is happening there as well? Right, first of all, that's what you get when you build a highway or, a motorway in the city. It's just, look at how not nice this is. It sure is nice to drive here, and it's nice that there are actually trees and a park over there. But it's just terrible. You can't even go that fast. Like 90 kilometers an hour? Sure. That's 27 kilometers. What, you could cross the country. And yeah, sure, people are not going to bike that far. But that's where it's great that it takes 31 minutes to drive in terrible congestion, apparently, compared to 1 hour and 56 minutes. And okay, sometimes I just don't understand Google Maps. Like, we don't need this bus, we can walk that far, 37 minutes still. It's still more than it takes to drive, and yet I know that it is more practical to take public transit. Do they say the price? They do that in Japan, which is quite nice. No, they don't do it in Singapore. That's unfortunate. We are taking right to the City Hall, which we shall be looking at right now. How does the City Hall looks like? Where is it even? There isn't any buildings here. Well, yes, sure, there is terrible buildings over there, but of course they couldn't be the City Hall, right? And where's the park? We will go to satellite view right now. But just look how fantastic the quality. This quality, I love it. I mean, you can literally zoom in and see everything. Except people walking, apparently. Like when I was in Amsterdam recently, I discovered this quality. There were people walking everywhere. It was fantastic. But that apparently can't happen here. Yeah, whatever, I can't find it. National Gallery of Singapore. How does that look? Wow. I actually really like that. Look at how interesting that is. Except Well, that over there we don't talk about. What even is that? That just looks awful. It looks like you... 2 seconds, we're going to Denmark again. It looks like you took, like, Herlev sygehus. Can we find Herlev sygehus? I hate Copenhagen. I can never find anything. Also, look at how many motorways Copenhagen has as well. It's just terrible out here. It makes the city so sad, especially up north. Especially because up north, it's actually a really nice area. But it just gets ruined by the motorways. This is not one of the nice areas. In fact, if we go down here, we can see this is a typical Danish, a Danish neighborhood, which it isn't great. But if we go over here, oh, there you have it. By the way, that's Herlev sygehus. The motorway is right there. That is terrible. And I don't understand why they did that. In fact, here we have Herlev. That's some really nice houses. I shall admit, I kind of like Herlev sygehus. But if I would like to live here, look at how fantastic these houses look. They look like, the Danish equivalent of, Greenlandic architecture. If the people of Herlev could actually manage to have a house. The problem with these is that they cost 9 million, which I think is too much. But Herlev Hospital, this is literally Herlev or Højgladsaxe. Well, one of the failed Danish public housing things with a ship on top of it. It looks terrible, is what I'm trying to say. This looks terrible. Everything looks terrible here. Is a disgusting area, except for the things that are right here. Wow, they have plants on asphalt, but it's still too car centric. Like people don't need a car here. We are literally in the middle of the city. So what will happen if we say we live up on Coronation Road W in this house, number 97, Coronation Road W 97. This is our house in the middle of the street, which actually is too wide and too narrow at the same time, and it's difficult to match that actually. Because these disgusting cars park here, apparently. Are they parked? Because they look parked. And at the same time, there has to be a road here, or, a street. Well, how do we get from Coronation Road W to where shall we go? It just looks like a bunch of suburbs, actually. We want to go to the National Museum. That is a fantastic place. And it's only 8 kilometers away. So we can cycle there. And I hate cities that are this large because Look at how little distance we have covered in a ginormous city. I don't know why Google Maps is doing this. What I do know is that how do Holland Road look? I'm disappointed. Oh, as well as the road that we came. No, we came from this road here. And we were going down to this road. Why does it have to be so big? This is not a great sized road. That should be a tram in the middle, and it should have... I don't know how to say it actually. Just don't have roads this big. Also, no, not really. This is unsavable. I hate this. This is terrible. Commonwealth Avenue. Now, if we cycle along it, again, we're going the opposite direction. That doesn't change anything, though. Except we go all the way over here. And we need to see 6th Avenue. I think this is a decently sized road. I think the problem is that it doesn't have a bike lane. If it had a bike lane, I think it would be an acceptable road. Holland Road, on the other hand, terrible. Absolutely terrible. That house is indeed very nice. It is just out a terrible road. The same with all these houses. And just look at this mess. Look at that poor guy over there. He's just waiting. Look, that's where he wait. Oh God. This shouldn't be an image. This should not be an image. Like, clearly, that driver is terrible. He should have waited for her to cross. I hate this. I hate this so much. And it really reminds me of some of the places that we went in Iceland. Let me just find it. Because I noticed while in Iceland, in Reykjavik, that if we find if we say Laugavíkur, Norton, and of course they don't have it right here. That's so annoying. Well, they're still doing better than Singapore because they have bicycle lanes, a bicyclist, a person out walking, and a bicyclist on the other side. And Reykjavik is small enough that it's acceptable that it doesn't really have a tram. Almost. If we go to here, can we see? Yes, here we have it. Here we have it. I really dislike these ones. I really dislike these lanes, where you can turn. What they're going to do here? You can't go there. Oh, of course. Well, look at that family there. They is in the middle of a car-centric area, and it is quite sad, actually. At least IQV doesn't have there are cars everywhere. At least IQV doesn't have a terrible skyline always lingering in the background, and I like that about them. If we go back to Singapore though, we cycle all the way. What do they do here? I'm actually quite curious. Wait, what? You're not allowed to walk on the sidewalk. What? No, there must be something I can do. I don't understand. There has to be. But still have to cross 3 lanes and go over there, and then even then you aren't done because you have to cross one more. And where are you supposed to cycle in all of this? Where are you supposed to cycle here? In fact, if we open street map and say public transit and go to not Japan, Singapore. Not public transit, bicycle. What? Wait, what? No way. That has to be... What? There's no way you can have a city with this little bike lanes like Singapore. In fact, if we go over here, we will check if there is a bike lane. Can I find this on Google Maps? Kranji Expressway. Kranji Expressway. We will say, where was it again? It was, this is a large nature reserve. Was it there? I think it was here. If we go down and say this map has seen better days. Actually, there's 2. It's just a little worse. The other map told us there were bicycle lanes here. Is that true? It literally isn't. It literally isn't. Oh yeah, only on one side. Yeah, sure. But where is that one side? This is not a bicycle lane. This is just a plain standard place to walk. Look at how few people actually, but people are walking, not cycling. Well, they're not walking because they're driving or taking double-decker buses actually. I love double-decker buses. Double-decker buses are fantastic. They are the best kinds of buses. Though I really dislike apartment blocks that are this high. They're so intimidating. And they're so dense as well. Like, the trees are helping a lot here. But they're still terrible. That's a bike lane. Stay on track. Are you joking? Are Singaporeans that bad at cycling? Also, isn't that a bit confusing? That it says stay on track. I have a bicycle thing here. It says slow in the other direction. And also in the other direction have bicycles and pedestrians together. Oh yeah, and no one's using it. Why is no one using it? It's apparently the only bike lane there is. Like, if you want to go from here and into the city, I don't know where the centre of the city out there is. I think Singapore's way too big to have a proper centre. Oh, there's a person in one of those funny scooters. Give way to pedestrians. Yeah, sure, it helps hiding it behind a tree. No one is ever going to walk around here. Like, you can't even walk over the road, properly. Sure, you can, but you're not meant to, clearly. This is just terrible. I'm so disappointed. Back to the trams. We have forgot all about the trams. Wait, what? Is there 0 trams? Singapore's had 2 tramway networks forming part of its public transit arrangement. Both networks were relatively unsuccessful and short-lived. They haven't had trams since 1929. I have lost all hope in Singapore. What about light rail? Okay, this looks so stupid. It has 0 capacity. Daily ridership 208,000. Oh, really? This is the MRT, right? This isn't the light rail networks. This is just a bad joke. You can't seriously operate these. It's a monorail as well. And look at how awful the neighbourhood looks. First of all, I hate elevated railway tracks. I hate everything elevated because it makes concrete structures down below. That is intimidating and not life-sized at all. Yeah. I'm very disappointed, actually. I thought Singapore was this new kind of, we make a East Asian city that's like good. Pedestrians use crossing. Oh, really? Did you really need to tell me that? Where is the crossing anyway? Slow. Where is the bump also? Oh, and another light. Yeah, sure. Bicycled. Look. Look. Oh, they have the same bicycle lights as in Amsterdam. I actually think these lights are really annoying, actually. Because what we have here in Denmark, if we quickly go to Denmark, no, we might as well look at them in Amsterdam. If we go to where should we go to? We should go to Amstelveen. No, you know what? We're just going down in the Olympic Stadium. I love that neighbourhood. Not this street, obviously. But for the purposes of this video, where have why does the roads have to be so wide? Yeah, you see, that's the same lights as in Singapore. Great. Now, if we go to Denmark, this time we will not go to Copenhagen, we will go to Esbjerg. And we will go to the most terrible part of Esbjerg ever, Gissing Ringvej. And look at how terrible this looks. This is horrible. Why do people even think about this? I'm not allowed to cycle. Okay, thank you. If we go to the opposite side, we can see here bicycles have these funny bicycle lights, which I actually kind of like. I think they're much easier to read than these lights. So yeah, we are never going back to that area again, I promise. I should have picked another neighbourhood. I am disgusted that Singapore doesn't have trams. And I'm disgusted that their light rail system apparently uses these disgusting pods. I thought that we in Copenhagen concluded that pod metros were kind of successful because they could be automated, but this is not automated at all, and it was here. That is not automated, or is it? Is it automated? I really hope it is. Yeah, automated automated guideway transit / people mover. Anyway, I think Singapore is very much overrated. I think it is described as a paradise on Earth, and especially on par with cities in the Netherlands or the entirety of Europe. And maybe Singapore is better than a lot of cities in Asia if we go to Jakarta and just plonk ourselves down in a random place. Yeah, sure, this is terrible. Though I do say, if they keep to the roads, I think motorcycles are a great way of reducing congestion. Like, if every one of these motorcycles were a car, Jakarta would not function anymore. I do still think that if we go down to a totally random place in Stockholm, I've never been to Stockholm, I don't know what I'm talking about. If we go down to Stockholm, look at all these people, and look at all these Swedish people who are enjoying themselves. If we go over here, this looks very much like Copenhagen, except, oh, what's that? Trees? That's fantastic. Oh, and there are trees here and... what? Okay, we don't talk about cycling culture in Stockholm. Instead, we say Stockholm is fine. Singapore, that was Jakarta, sorry, easy to mix up. Ha ha ha. Singapore, disgusting, because look at what Stockholm has. If we go to the centre of Stockholm, we have Riddarholmskyrkan. Look at how beautiful Riddarholmskyrkan are. And we have a motorway Thanks for ruining everything, Swedish people. Also, by the way, where's the trams? I thought that Stockholm had trams all over the place. That doesn't matter. We avoid Stockholm. We go to Helsinki instead. I know how Helsinki looks. And if we go to this road here, we can say, what's that? That is cobblestone. What's that? That's trams. What's that? That's actually trees along the road. That is fantastic. Though I don't really know what to think about the bike lane. But people use it, so whatever. I actually really like Helsinki. It was a pleasure to be in Helsinki. Helsinki felt like what Denmark could have been if we didn't stopped what we was doing with public transit. I feel like Denmark is largely living on what we already have done. We aren't really doing anything more. Like, yes, sure, we are building Lynetteholm, but it's just terrible. And everyone knows that. And in Aarhus, we are building Aarhus Ø, which also is terrible, and everyone thinks that, but whatever. We've brought back the trams in Aarhus, actually, which I like. Though, you can debate how useful they are, but I really like them. Though this is so typically Danish, except the tram. If this is everywhere in Denmark, actually. A big road that is just direct and annoying. The only thing that is un-Danish is the fact that if you can go away. Yeah, there we have it. Now it's Danish, except the tram. We have a bike lane there. But we have 4 lanes of car traffic. And a rather small bike lane. Look at how rather small that bike lane is. In Singapore, yeah, that was Singapore actually. Wait, they have a Sultan Mosque. We have to see that. We have to see. Can it save? Yes, it can. It looks fantastic. Look at how fantastic that looks. And actually, look at how fantastic the houses around it also looks. Just look at how much of a mess the parking situation is. It is just terrible. And though we like dedicated bus lanes, we absolutely hate when there isn't a tram. This actually reminds me a bit of when I was in Porto. Except in Porto there is trams, and there is not these disgusting Well, to be fair, they're actually in Colossus or something. If we look the other way, disgusting buildings, and we are really avoiding the mosque. But these disgusting buildings, that disgusting building, that disgusting building, that disgusting building, that disgusting buildings all over the place. That terrible hotel boss. Which hotel in this image do you want to use? Hotel whatever that is, or hotel boss? I would surely rather want a hotel JJH than hotel boss around the corner. In fact, shall we go and see where is hotel boss? can we see how Hotel Boss looks? It actually is down to quite a nice pedestrianised area. I take that back. This street is terrible. Hotel Bath. How does it look inside? I'm not interested. Why do they... Yeah, whatever. Can't we see images? Yeah, photos. I really dislike this form of architecture. Especially because you have... I hate air conditioning. Seriously, I hate air conditioning. I just can't handle it. Look at how nice the houses down there look. Look at how terrible these houses look. Look at how nice that park looks. Look at how terrible these houses look. I feel like it's how Singapore is. Look at how nice that area looks. Look at how terrible that street, and those houses, not those houses, but those houses and the hotel itself looks. Oh yeah, don't even get me started on what's over there. It is just so sad. This is just tasteless. This also looks terrible. Like, yeah, wow, golden, not even golden, but glass bubbles in a yellow colour with a Versailles bouquet. And, marble floor or whatever. This is just tasteless. I hate this. This shall die. Anyway, that is my review of Singapore. Except we will stop the video here because we have a bus with no one in it. Nah, it's just... No, there's some people in it. We will stop the video here because we are in the middle of a highway, or motorway, also known as the Bukit Timah Road, with houses almost right on that. That's the sidewalk you get. That is so terrible. You can't have that. You can't have that. Anyway, pedestrians this way. Okay, fine. I haven't thought about climbing over. Well, yeah, I have thought. I've thought about walking in the middle of the road to get run down, to get away from this terrible hellscape. Look at how... Also, these houses over here is just horrible. But it's just sad. It's just sad. Anyway, on that very sad note, I will end the video. Goodbye.